almost no better feeling in the world than going the opposite direction of terrible traffic and just speeding past all these poor suckers. Come on, Bon.
Hey Bonnie, today I want to talk to you about commuting and getting around places. I live near the city of Boston. There's lots going on in the city, and there are so many ways that you can get around. I want to talk a little bit today about four different ways of getting around. There's taking public transportation. With any of these, you're going to have to do some walking, so walking is sort of a side to any of these transportation methods. You've got biking, which is very popular in the city. And of course you've got driving. First, let's talk about public transportation and walking. I found that Boston is a very walkable city. At the very least, if you're out of all other options, you can always walk. And it really doesn't take as long as you expect it to get from point A to point B. I really like that about this city. And to supplement walking, you've got these great public transportation options. There's what we call the T. The T normally refers to the actual trains, the subway. I happen to live quite near the Red Line, which I find to be a very good transportation method. However, the Green Line in particular is not as great, and it runs on the streets. It has to weave through traffic and stop at red lights, same as cars. To supplement the train lines, we also have bus lines, of course. So I've been forced to take more and more bus lines recently, and I've decided that they're not as bad as I thought they were. Overall, I'm a pretty big fan of the Boston public transit system. Next up, we've got biking. Biking is the most tiring of all of these options, and maybe this is just me. I feel like I have to go fast, and so I have to pump my hardest and work my hardest to go as fast as I possibly can. However, sometimes this can be the most rewarding method of travel. I often find myself zipping past cars and thinking how foolish they are waiting in all the traffic, and they zip past me by just pushing their foot closer to the floor while I'm huffing and puffing trying to get my bike up a steep hill. In the city there aren't a lot of parking spots, but you can pretty much hook up your bike to anything you can find that doesn't move. Biking is a great alternative to public transportation, particularly when the transit doesn't go the way you want. Which brings us to driving. The most obvious option for many people, but not necessarily in the city. I know a lot of people who don't have a car, but I find it handy on longer trips, or trips where I'm heading out of the city. Honestly, one of the big reasons I still have my car around is just for the flexibility that I have. I have the ability to hop inside this vehicle where I don't have to work very hard, and sometimes you hit traffic, but that comes with the territory of driving in the city. And I've gotten used to it in many situations. You kind of just plan ahead and expect that you're going to hit traffic. I'd say I mostly use my car when I absolutely cannot do anything else, or if I'm in a particular hurry. Of course, I know there are other options, Bonnie. There's taxis or Ubers or Lyfts. I could run places if I wanted to. I used to own a scooter. I can rely on other people to get me around in their cars. You could argue that commuting is pointless and frustrating, but I think part of commuting in any kind of travel is the journey, and I'm really glad to have all of these options. That's all I got for you this week, Bonnie. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you next week. Just for your information, this is what I looked like when I biked home. The filming apparatus. A bunch of rubber bands. I got the shot though! I think. I haven't looked at the footage yet. I hope.